Oh, so you're a Gemini, huh? Well, I'm an asparagus. And chances are, Mercury isn't in retrograde. It's just you.
Hey, what's up? What's going on, boys and girls? Here again
Hello.
on Chances Are. I'm Carlos and I'm with my friend Zach. And once again, hey,
Hi.
the
Hi.
spicy topics and all the smoke are going to be brought to you personally. And this time around, we have a guest with us who's more or less very well versed, very well educated, and credible when it comes to these things. Because hey, we got to talk.
Basically, she's gonna give us legitimacy, is
We
what
have
he's trying to say.
got to discuss a few things that are well, more or less. I wouldn't say controversial, but definitely something to talk about because there are certain beliefs that people have. Some people have the best of intentions, very decent mindsets when it comes to these things, and others, well, they let these beliefs run their lives, and that ain't good. That ain't simpatico.
Big
So
cringe.
it is absolutely necessary for us to address these things, or at the very least, talk about it. Okay, so a little background about our guest today. Okay, she is
Ooh.
currently a lecturer at the Department of Psychology, University of Philippines Diliman, and a psychosocial support specialist from UP Diliman PsychServe. She is also finishing her Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology in UP Diliman, where she is studying the impact of pets on one's mental health and well being. That is awesome. She's also working on other research on disaster mental health, as well as arts and mental health. During her spare time, her free time, she creates illustrations, engages in mindfulness practice, and plays with her lovely hackdog,
What?
Luna. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, okay.
allow me to introduce Danielle Marie A. Parreño, or as we do have consent to address her, Denden.
All right. So thank you so
Welcome.
much.
Welcome to the show, Denden.
Right. Thank you so much for that
Hello.
introduction. And I'm not sure, I mean, if, I'm that well versed or that I can lend the credibility that you guys need, but I'm going to try my best. I hope.
You'll
Well,
be
you have
fine.
more credibility than either one of us, so
You'll be
we'll
fine.
take what we can get.
Yes, people will judge and that's it, but it's okay. That's why we're
It's
here
fine.
to be judged.
Right.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, that is so comforting to hear coming from you and coming from this particular podcast. So thank you so much for that. All right. Well, you called me here because there is a particular controversial topic that I think before anything else, no, I'm
Oh,
very curious. What are
okay.
your zodiac signs?
Zach,
I am an
If you're
asparagus.
comfortable, if you're comfortable sharing on air.
go ahead,
I
Zach.
okay. Well, since we're being comfortable, I am not an asparagus.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Libra. Yeah.
Right. So
And
Zach is a Libra.
okay, and I am a Virgo, and that
You're a
makes me
Virgo.
very difficult as a
Mm-hmm.
person.
Right,
Really.
right. I heard Virgos also have perfect, the perfectionistic tendencies
Hmm.
and all. And I wonder if you strongly, you know, identify yourself with that.
Well, well, maybe to some
Mm-hmm.
extent, I
I
guess.
identify as a basketball. No, I'm kidding.
Let's not go there, Zach. All right. So,
Wag muna.
okay. So, there have been, of course, you did mention controversy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about it in that aspect, it's basically because we, Zach and I, based on our
Mm-hmm.
perception as we, witness these things in social media and also like in real life, in real time happening before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
People who enjoy the novelty of it, just reading your horoscope, reviewing
Right.
it at the end of the day, like I do every now and then. I do check my horoscope before I go to bed and see,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that actually makes sense. This day was shit, and the horoscope did validate that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
fun. It's fun to sort of see that kind of thing. It's everything matches. But we also do see certain people who will let it
Ugh.
run their lives.
Oh
Like we're
no.
talking about
Mm-hmm.
like business practices,
Uh-huh.
getting dating people, getting married. Oh my god.
We've seen the
Right.
memes. We've seen so many memes about them, and it's getting out of hand, honestly. And I was telling Carlos about this earlier that there's this meme about girls be like girls will be driving and they hit a curb and they'll be like, "Oopsie, I'm a Gemini" or something like that. And so there's so many of those. It's entertaining to see, but at the same time, people know that there are actual people like that.
Mm-hmm.
The people whom the memes refer to.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and of course, this is me speaking as someone who occasionally subscribes to this. I mean, like I said, it's a novelty which I do
Uh-huh.
enjoy every now and then. It's
Right.
it's it's not hurtful. It doesn't affect me in a bad way. It's nice to read,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where I draw the line because
Right.
like Zach and I have been mentioning, there are some people who take it way too seriously. I mean, I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
like gospel levels of astrology.
Right. Right.
So we're curious about your insights regarding this and your opinion towards this
Uh-huh.
kind of action or this kind of practice.
Well, I'm coming here bringing, an open mind when we talk about this,
Of
especially
course,
I
of
consider
course.
myself
Mhm.
as a clinician in training or a psychologist. And I guess it's important that we first lay down what these terms mean because there have been studies wherein some people have actually interchanged what astrology versus astronomy is, right? So when
Yes.
we talk about astrology, it's definitely yung position ng stars and all of these astronomical phenomena the day that you were born has actually an impact on your personality or who you are as a person. And even all of these phenomena actually has an influence on the daily events, our lives, right? Like, for example, if there's a Mercury retrograde, or the other day there was an eclipse and it was a full moon. Oh, it's
Yes.
full moon, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Blood moon.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
And even a lot of people are describing many definitions or meanings to those kinds of events, and that is where astrology is actually coming from. All right, and even for others, as strict as what's the time of your birth and where were you born, right? It even has an influence on what your personality may be. So, for example, that's why I asked when were you born, because the approximate, let's say, the date, your birth dates, it coincides with a particular zodiac sign. Okay, and the whole idea is that there is, if you look at the zodiac, its meaning from Greek, it's for a
Mhm.
sculpted animal figure. That's why if you take a look at the 12 zodiac signs, they coincide with some sort of figure, animal figures, like
Yes.
not all, right, but
Hmm.
animal figures basically.
Oh yeah.
And like, for example, I think for the Taurus, right? And then there's a fish, there is a Capricorn, like the goat, and all of these, they coincide with that. And it has been existing for like thousands of years. Like it started when the early civilization mapped out these stars. And kaya nga nagkaroon ng itong 12 zodiac signs because
Hmm.
kung nasaan tayo gumagalaw in space, right?
Mhm.
They mapped out all of these stars, and if you are born, let's say, the winter constellations, the summer, the other parts of the world have their own, the seasons, right? That coincides with a particular zodiac sign. Now it's different from astronomy, which is really it's the physical science, or it's a scientific study
Yes.
of all of the
The
celestial
yeah, the
objects.
study of the heavenly bodies. Zach
Right,
Zach does
exactly.
Zach does that a lot.
What?
Nako, ang daming heavenly
Yes,
bodies yata
absolutely.
yun.
Puro kamunduhan. Ayan. So
I think you might be thinking of a different heavenly body, but I'm not going to get into that too much.
Yeah, we plead the fifth. But anyway, please continue.
All right. Okay. So I just want to put, hopefully that we all understand what astronomy versus astrology is, and that we're talking about astrology here, because there have been some studies wherein people think na parang, ay, medyo scientific nga yung astrology kasi di ba pinag-aaralan yung stars dyan? And they kind of
Oof.
get confused that, oh, but there is really another field or another branch in science that specifically studies that, but astrology isn't that.
Mhm.
Okay. So I guess knowing that, no, and probably you're curious, why is it that, let's say if I go to Bumble right now and I see a
Oh,
person who is, very attractive, hits all the right hits all the right spots in terms of this and that, but this particular person actually has this particular zodiac sign. And then that person is immediately canceled. Ay, mahirap tong pakisamahan kasi ito yung zodiac sign niya. I'm not gonna drop any particular zodiac signs, but right? I mean,
Gemini. It's
We're
Gemini.
we're talk we're
That's
talk we're
Gemini
talking
energy.
about you,
That is
you
Gemini
you
energy.
Scorpios.
That is Gemini energy right
Yeah,
there. No,
big
cancel that.
big Scorpio energy. Oh my god, ew. No, just
right? I
kidding.
mean, it even spurred the creation of a particular group in Facebook wherein, yeah, they're all memes, but people are like agreeing, yeah, ganito nga yung mga particular zodiac sign na yan. I'm not gonna drop any particular zodiac
I'm
signs,
still
right?
saying Gemini.
It's just based from experience of
Well,
Yes,
swiping
well,
left.
yeah,
absolutely.
Scorpios for sure. I mean, see, now people who are listening right now can tell that we're not really talking shit about astrology because
Oh,
we
I will.
ourselves have experienced these things, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be upfront. I'll be 100% with all of y'all. Some of it makes sense, especially to me, like with the experiences. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like when they say this is compatible with this will clash with this. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
it could be purely coincidence. I will not
Mm-hmm.
dismiss the fact, the logical, rational idea that this is purely coincidental. This could be based on the person's personality. It just so happens
Mm-hmm.
this person was a douche. But hey, this person just so happened to be a Scorpio too. So, I mean,
It's the chances,
I don't
right?
make yeah, chances are, right? So
Mhm.
I don't make them rules, right? It happened. So I can sort of see why a lot of people really follow it because the
Mhm.
coincidences, they make too much sense. They check
Correct.
all the boxes, right? And
Mhm.
like Zach said a while ago, he'll be talking shit about it. So yeah, I think
Don't I
in this
always?
particular aspect, the sides have been chosen. but yeah, please do proceed then. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the thing that makes astrology very attractive for a lot of people is that I think as humans, we're always striving to look for explanation for a lot of things that are happening to us. Right? So, for example, if you're someone who didn't take any Psych 101 class and know all the basic concepts about affect, behavior, and cognition, and you're looking for ways to try to explain, bakit nakipag-break sa akin yung boyfriend ko? Bakit hindi ako
Oof.
makakoncentrate sa ginagawa ko ngayon? Why is it that, I feel so restless? What kind of energy is there? It's because it's the full moon. Right. Because it's retrograde. It's everything's meant to be messy at this time. Maybe
Ugh.
that's why this person
Oh
broke up
no.
with me. Right? I mean, for other people, they,
Yeah,
they take comfort in looking for certain explanations, especially if, let's say, hindi readily accessible yung sinasabi nating mas backed by research or
yeah.
evidence with
Also,
them.
it could also be like the denial of the truth. Like, of
Yeah.
course,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it a bit more comforting to say that, oh, the planets didn't align for the two of
Mm-hmm.
us, instead of thinking,
Right.
I guess that person just doesn't like my personality, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
this person doesn't like the fact that I play video games or something.
It is
That's
it
more
is a, it is a good
hurtful.
little it is a
Mm,
good
I suck
little
it.
reason. Yeah, yeah. I'll be honest. It's a nice little reason to have. Maybe some that that's a little bit of a pick me up or make things a little bit lighter on you.
Yeah, it's
mm,
But
solace
it's
talaga
just
siya.
it's just astounding how it for some people it's become a form of it's become such a force in their
Mm.
lives.
Yeah,
Right.
a
And
driving
I'm just
force.
wondering why. I'm
Mhm.
just really curious
Mhm.
why why believe in it, and like what led them to perhaps do so is
Right.
really what's interesting.
Mhm. I think those are very valid questions to ask. And especially ngayong 2020, no? I mean, I think
Yeah.
nashook
it's
lahat with
it's
what's
it,
up with
it's a
2020, right?
constant state of asking why. Why is this
Exactly.
happening to me? Why is all this
Uh-huh.
happening? Why po? Yeah. Correct, correct, correct.
Right. Exactly. And
Wasn't there a dude who was like a some sort of fortune teller? See, I'm
Oh,
not gonna say his
come
name.
on, Zach. Oh,
Why?
really? You're not gonna
I'm
drop
not gonna
his
say his
name?
name. I'm not gonna say his name
Suddenly,
because
suddenly.
he still has posters and some billboards and stuff on
Oh,
EDSA. But
so we're taking the blind item route. Okay,
yeah, but I'm
that's
just
fine. That's fine.
this isn't knocking on him. Obviously, we would love to hear what he thinks as well. But
Do you
you know,
really?
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering because at the start of the year, at the start of 2020, he was like, "Oh, it's going to be a
Mhm.
prosperous year," or something like that. People were listening to him. What happened since then?
Well,
You know,
a reality happened, I guess.
Right.
But we
is
can't.
there some
Yeah.
sort of psychological trick to coming up with these statements so that people are more likely to believe
Mhm.
when some guy like that says, "Oh, this is going to be happening to you, but if
Mhm.
you don't do this, then it's going to be like that." Like, is there some sort of blanket statement or a psychological trick to
Mhm.
make people believe it more?
Well, now that you've asked it, we actually call it as a Barnum or a Forer effect, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
particular cognitive bias. Well, basically saying how gullible are you if you read
Ooh, ooh.
particular general statements. But basically, if you want like, a definition of it, it's when individuals or people believe that some generic information, which is actually applicable to anyone, can actually be applied specifically to themselves. So, for example, if you look at the newspaper, and there are still newspapers who are publishing the zodiac signs and the horoscope for the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can cross
Yeah.
out the names of all of those zodiac signs, and any of those can still be applicable to you. And the thing about Barnum effect or Forer effect is that um, this is why critical thinking is very important. Kasi you'll have to ask, saan nanggaling yung information na yan? Right? Where is this general statement coming from? Because for example, in my Psych 101 class, I frequently do this, right? What I do is that once I've established that much rapport, oh no, if I have any 101 or future 101 students who might be listening to this, malalaman na nila
Oh
yung trick
no,
and stuff.
may cheat sheet na sila, lagot. May kodigo
The
na.
kind of cheat sheet na sila, all right. But let's see. Okay. So
May
what I
plus grade if they listen. Joke lang.
maybe for the future ones, right? But
Nice.
what I usually do if I've established enough rapport with my students, so there I've managed to create two different versions, and it's usually a pretty popular experiment usually done in Psych 101 classes. So the pre-pandemic version was that they used to write minute reflection. So it's on a piece of paper. They'll submit any thoughts about the class, even if I'm sleepy, ma'am, then, and that's their attendance for the day. All right. And then I designed I designed my whole course wherein we'll be talking about personality around halfway or maybe a month or two into the semester. And then before starting the personality topic, I'll be sharing with them that, oh, you know what? Do you know the minute reflections that you've been submitting to me, the ones with your handwriting on it? Well, I spent the entire weekend because, it's part of my training as a psychologist or as a clinician in training. And I've been trained to do this. And I analyzed your handwritings. And, well, I've poured over it throughout the weekend. And now I'm going to give you a personalized interpretation of your personality based on handwriting. I know it's different from astrology, but just to demonstrate the Barnum effect, the reality is that I didn't spend the whole weekend just to pour over their handwritings. I just gave them three general statements that gave them alternate, and that was the instruction was very crucial because they couldn't or they shouldn't share it with their seatmates, or else I risk, my deception being actually found out na
That's
ay
true.
magkapares kami nung binigay ni ma'am. All right. And I think with that, with regards to your question, is that you have this person who is um maybe the identity of this person. Like for me, I'm someone who there's definitely power imbalance in the classroom wherein I'm the teacher. So therefore everything that Ma'am Dendan must be saying is true. Something like that. There is that one particular
Yes.
aspect. And in your case, you inviting me to this particular podcast, right? Because I lend some credibility, but in fact, I could be bullshitting any of this.
Oh
Diba?
my God, Zach, we've been duped. We've been jebaited, Zach.
I
Hurry up.
know.
Close all the windows. Cut the
I
audio.
just I don't know. I don't know anymore, man.
We've been undermined. We don't even have a following yet. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
But
It's
that's the
fine.
thing. There is all right, you're saying that now, okay. But
Mhm,
that's the thing. I lend some credibility. And I think the same goes for those who actually call themselves as psychics, as tarot readers, as
mhm.
astrology experts, and they give out this. So there is maybe a part, and that is why it's a cognitive bias, because unless you're very critical and ask questions like, where did you get that? What's your basis or what's your evidence?
Hmm.
Right? Or is it just did you just pull that out of nowhere, or is it just the energy vibing? You have to tell me exactly, because the Barnum effect or the Forer effect doesn't work that much for people who are skeptical. And I've had those students. They're very skeptic. Saan ka nang galing, ma'am? How is it possible that you just looked at our handwriting? They're not familiar with graphology, by the way, which is the study of the handwriting. But other people, since they know it and they're fascinated by it, that
There's a
adds up to the
study?
whole. Yeah, you call it graphology.
Graphology,
Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
people
I
study
yeah, no,
handwriting.
I am an uncultured swine, so I did not know.
The more you know, and knowing is half the battle. Go ahead.
All right. So I guess with that, I mean, and if you're interested, if you're someone who's, listening to someone in front of you, oh, this person seemed to know a lot about psychology and stuff. So this person might be saying the truth, right? So that's how usually the bias works. And I think that's why, for example, at the start of the year, usually pag new year, we listen to some sort of, okay, what would this particular person who is known to predict the future, what would it say regarding my particular zodiac sign? And especially with certain cultures celebrating the year of ganito, ganyan, it has an impact. Like what you mentioned, like some businesses, they take into consideration all of these things, right? So
That's true. Yeah.
mhm. if you're actually looking for, so bottom line, then is this backed up by research? Like, is there a basis why I should reject a Gemini because this particular this particular
because
person
because
I
of
have
who
my
past
is
personal reasons.
because of past experiences. Yes, reflection. Yeah.
right, or
Trauma.
like how
It
likely am I going to find, let's say, a partner who will like me if I have perfectionistic tendencies because I'm a Virgo, right? Or like how are you ever gonna settle down then you're a Sagittarius? You're free spirited. You don't want to be tied down and all of those things,
oh
Oh
right?
my god. Oh my god.
I
I
mean,
yeah, I can only date Aquarius men because I'm like a Gemini or a Taurus, and it's just so like weird. I can't even explain it. I see so many of those. All right,
mhm,
it's getting really tiring. Oh my goodness!
mhm,
And you know what? I see it from really smart people too. I went to school with one of these girls. All right, and she's on track to be a doctor and everything.
mhm,
And then this like these random
Th-
spam
this
spamming of stories, and it's just like, oh, you know what, I'm so done with
th-
all these
th-
men. I can only date you if you're Aquarius, and if
mhm.
you're born on the night of ganito ganyan, it's
so so
wow.
the question is, Zach, did you guys date?
No, no, not that one. Not that one.
All right, all right. Okay,
Honestly, not
okay.
that one. But
Okay.
there was.
Okay.
It's so
Okay.
weird how this is just. I don't know what it is. Okay, but the most people I've encountered who are like really crazy about this whole astrology thing
Mhm.
is more often than not the people I hear talking the most about it are Geminis. I don't know why. And
Z-
and
Zach versus the
honestly,
Geminis. Oh my
look.
god.
Here's my thing, and I'm not against any Geminis. I'm friends with a lot of them. It's just coincidental how
Mhm.
Geminis have the most number of people I've met who believe in this sort of thing. Yet at the same time, their zodiac sign actually is the most memeable one just because of the reputations they have,
Well,
which is just coincidental. It's
yeah. I
purely
mean,
coincidental. All right, it's not based on any science.
when
It's purely coincidental that they're like that.
yeah, when you see the memes though, most of the memes that I see, I don't really see a lot of the memes that you mentioned, like the memes that target specific signs. Most of the
Mhm.
memes that I see or the posts are the ones with the list of all the signs, and then there's a
Uh-huh.
description of either what they are, or there's like a picture of an anime character to describe their personality. And
Mhm.
usually it's kind of spot on based on the people that I know. But I think, contrary to Zach, who seems to have a lot of pent up angst against Gemini's, I've been fortunate enough.
Experience.
I've been fortunate enough to be around people who also, enjoy partaking in
Mhm.
astrology as well, who
Right.
also have fun, reading their horoscopes, checking out the compatibility with signs, but they've
Mhm.
never really gone too far in
Right.
terms of like critical thinking or making certain important decisions. I've never really seen them reflect or actually sort of get any ideas from
Mhm.
astrology when it comes to this. It's mostly just for good, clean fun, or
Mhm.
just something to talk about, which is
That
nice.
would be more refreshing to see, bro,
Yeah,
honestly. But
that,
the people that we
yeah.
usually know who follow these types of things,
Who
and
are
this is the
these
part.
people? Hmm?
This is the part. This is the
Mm.
part where I'm not. This is the
Mhm.
part where I'm not going to mention any particular zodiac signs because as long as there are people out there, like, okay, here's my thing. Um, I would love to hear them cite scientific studies and
Right.
evidence
Mhm.
proving that, oh, okay, it's valid that you didn't like this one girl or this one guy because apparently your signs aren't compatible. Oh, you didn't get that job because it's Mercury in retrograde. I'm losing brain. So I don't know, dude. I'm
Are
not gonna
these
knock on them.
are these the usual like source? Trust me, bro. Sort of like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm
All
not gonna
right.
shit on them too much. It's just that I wish that there would be, for conversation's sake,
Mhm.
I wish that they would provide me with something to believe in, if even a little bit. Oh,
Right.
well, the gravity of the moon has affected this and that, and scientifically speaking, like even if it's like that, and I'll just be like,
Yeah, but I
okay.
have a feeling that something of that gravity gravity in
Mhm.
terms of research and information, I don't think that'll be
It goes
provided
over their heads.
anytime soon though. But if there's one thing that I could take away from it is I got a lot of interesting insight because
Mhm.
as you mentioned a while ago, Den, this
Yeah.
goes way back. This is based on, partially on Greek mythology, on particular beliefs way back in the past. So
Right.
there's a lot of there's likely a lot of oral literature based
Mhm.
on this. It's been passed from generation to generation.
Right.
So there's this. I have this one particular friend who whom I always tag in these memes because
Mhm.
we really jive when it comes to these kinds of things because well we both have fun with it, with astrology and
Right.
signs, but we
Uh-huh.
don't take it way too seriously. So this friend of mine, before when before 2020 and all that, before the horrors
Do I know this friend?
of life. No, not really, Zach.
Uh-huh.
Maybe next time. But we had this one conversation where she mentioned all the different, I forgot the term, but sorry, different phases of the moon
Mm.
in terms of my sign, and that was very interesting because it involved like the time I was born, the day.
Right, right.
Yeah, it went deeper into detail. So it did, of course, it did. I believe it did involve the Barnum effect because there are some particular characteristics and aspects of my personality that did not
Mm-hmm.
match me completely, but there were
Uh-huh.
also a few items there that really made sense. So
Right.
it's definitely something to take your mind off things is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to help you self-reflect as well because
Uh-huh.
it it also helped me sort of look back at certain characteristics of mine because there was this one particular thing that mentions creativity, which I believe I've been, totally lacking of for the longest time, and
Mm-hmm.
it sort of made me go back to my roots somewhat, and it sort of helped me rekindle a few things in my life. So in that case, it was a very nice experience. So I'm sorry about Gemini girl, Zach. I'm very sorry about that. I never had
There
those
were there were there were a
experiences.
bunch of them. It's fine.
I'm sorry about the Gemini people, Zach. But in my case, yeah, that's my experience. It's a really nice topic of conversation. It's a nice self-reflection tool. I dare say,
Mm-hmm.
call it a tool.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's something that for me is not detrimental, unless of course it's shoved down your throat or someone
Mm.
forces it upon you, which is always bad.
Right.
But on its own, I think it's pretty okay. Like I
Uh-huh.
guess like in all things in life, with moderation.
Right. Right. Well, I do share the same sentiment because if you're I mean, to answer the question whether there is a research, I think because Zach asked that question earlier,
Hmm.
there is
Yep, yep.
none. Well,
Oh.
there is no evidence that can actually show us, like scientific evidence that can show us that the position of these heavenly bodies during the time that you were born and even the phases of the moon. That's why there's a sun sign, there's the moon sign, star sign, and all of those things. There's no evidence that actually shows it influences our personality traits. Kasi nga, this has been going on for so long, and a lot of researchers have really attempted to look for solid evidence, and yet up to now, there is none that I know of. Right? I checked the researches. Really, hanggang ngayon, wala pa talaga. So why is it that it's still so popular, right? Because I think for one, astrology in a way is a means for us to describe parts of our human experiences that isn't necessarily or that can't be or that yeah, right cannot be explained by all of these backed up you know, science and evidence-based researches. Ang daming part ng ating experience na wala pang any explanations from all of the researches, right? And I think that's the thing. It's so intriguing for most people. Na all right, okay, let me take a personality test that has undergone a lot of research. But why is it that if I look at this particular like the one that you shared earlier, like
Hmm.
the phases of the moon and all of these things, some of them fit me. So how can you explain that, right? And all of these energies, how can you why is it that yeah, all right, people will be shitting on Mercury retrograde, and there's actually, we have a term, we have a term for that in psych, wherein if you look for external explanations to something that has actually happened to you, right? We actually call it locus of control. Okay. And for example, if you ascribe that, oh, you're gonna pass this exam because you have your lucky pen with you, or you have this, so maybe I don't have to study as much. We call it having a person who has an external locus of control because external forces like luck would actually determine the outcome. And then people who have higher internal locus of control strongly believe that they're the ones responsible for their own success, right? And I
Oh.
think I mean, if you look at these two things and look at it in, a larger aspect, kasi dito papasok yung culture and different context, right? What harm can it be if I bring my lucky pen? If like in the past, I've always passed my exam. I mean, I'll study, but I'll still bring my pen. Or for other people, for example, they're gonna bring the rosary or some memento from their parents or whatever special thing it is. Their good luck charm, lucky charm. Why is it that the four-leaf clover is something most coveted kind of leaf there is? And a lot of people would buy charms like that because it adds to the whole luck, the external locus of control, right? So we have a concept for that. But I think if we're gonna look at it closely, kasi may point kayo na parang is it possible to look at it in a way wherein I can still be critical about looking for evidence, but at the same time, um, really enjoy what astrology and horoscope has to offer? Is it possible? Like, won't I have cognitive dissonance because of that? And I think for me, and just for personal disclosure, because I use, for example, tarot decks or tarot cards, right? But like what
Mhm.
Carla said, I use it as a tool to introspect, right? To learn
Yeah,
more about
Yeah.
myself. Okay. But I'm not gonna use it in therapy.
exactly, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you're not gonna go ahead and say, "Oh, I drew the chariot and the world
Right.
and and the
Exactly.
hanged man. Oh, that means you're gonna die, right? That's not gonna help anyone. It's gonna be
Right.
it's
And
gonna
it's
yeah,
not
it's gonna be
evidence
worse.
based. Uh-huh.
Exactly. I
Right.
mean,
I mean, in my profession, in all professions under the field of health, we practice do no harm. And if I know that using a tarot card, or let's say using or basing what I or how I will help a particular client or patient, because or even deny help to a client or patient because they fall under a particular star sign, maybe unethical,
that's
right? And
true. That's true.
I think
That is just so true.
mhm, right? But if you use it, because in a way we have tests, because you're gonna ask me, okay, then so if my personality is not based on the position of the stars, whatever celestial bodies were there during the time that I was born, then what should I use? That's why we have a feel for it, like personality. And sobrang daming throughout the years. It's also something that a lot of people were trying their best to figure out, like ano yung best way to actually measure personality. And if you're looking for really evidence based and backed up by really a lot of research, you go to traits, personality traits. You answer inventories, which are highly reliable and valid. So it's your pen and paper test, like multiple choice kind of thing. Not really a Likert scale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
The
Like
Very
INFJ.
long.
yeah,
INFJ.
strongly agree, strongly
Right,
disagree.
right. Exactly. Diba? And the thing with personality, and the thing with personality, because there is and now that you mentioned, because I heard INFJ, if I'm not mistaken, from the
Oh my
MMPI,
god, it's all
right?
over me.
It's
Dur-
also
dur-
another
Oh my god.
have
dur-
a
Oh,
lot of
during
thoughts
I
during my
about
like
that
that
single
too.
too.
days,
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of things will be rampant on different profiles,
Different
to say the
bios,
Mm-hmm.
least.
yeah. Different
Right.
Yeah,
I
bios.
bios.
think
That's what they're called.
even in Bumble now, I mean, aside from the zodiac sign, they either write there INFJ, ENFP, yada yada
Yeah.
yada yada.
Yeah, that's I think yeah,
Right?
that's like on the top of their bio, like their
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that particular thing. And then if they're like half something something, the flag where they're from, and then their
Mm-hmm.
height. Yeah, that's what that's
Yeah,
what
that's true.
that's what they
If it
put.
matters, right?
Yes,
They
May
usually
exactly.
put
may
it
I
that
make
too.
may I make a quick comment on the whole what do you call those things again? Then the
Which one?
whole INFJ type thing.
Ah, it's what we call sorry for that. We call it OMG. It's the MBTI. See, I was
Right.
thinking
Yeah.
about
Yeah. Yeah.
MMPI. It's a
Yeah.
different
I
kind of
just
test.
he- just
MBTI, right?
okay. Here's the thing. Now, I used to be in human resources, and I can say this for a fact. When we're looking to
Oh
hire
my
people,
gosh.
we do not ask them about whatever NBTI. I forgot. I
Mhm.
completely forgot. It's been a long time.
MBTI, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We don't look for INFJs or anything like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at your qualifications, and then we're asking you questions to determine if you're going to be a fit, whether you're qualified, whether you can think on your feet. Okay, just because you
Uh-huh.
scored a certain, or just because you qualified or identified as, whatever other
as
NBTI.
as a team player, but has a criminal record.
Yeah, it's like it's just because you classified under a particular rare NBTI, which apparently says that you're going to be worthy of this company. Yeah, no, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to get the job like that. Okay, it's a whole bunch of other factors which are more real, which are more, I don't know, I guess more reliable in the sense that HR can actually measure a potential
Mm-hmm.
employee's
Right.
um potential performance.
True, true. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's the basis for hiring someone to get someone to work, right? So, if they're
Well,
qualified and capable,
get
right?
a Virgo, right?
Yeah, because
As a
they're
perfectionist.
perfectionists, they're empaths, they're very very sensitive when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
these things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if that's
Right.
true, but that's just me. So,
Well, that's the thing, and for us, it's not our gold standard when it comes to measuring personality. Pretty much like you're still ascribing or putting people in labels or in boxes, and it makes it easier for people to deal with because now I have a general idea of what you are. Pretty much like zodiac signs too, right? It's just that now
yeah.
that you mentioned you're in human resources, because if you want to look at really the comprehensive look at the personality of a person, that involves psychological assessment, and it's not cheap, it's expensive. And you'll have to, of course, the tests themselves are actually very expensive, and of course the people who are trained
Yeah.
to actually give out and interpret those tests. Like right now here in the Philippines, it should be psychologists who should be interpreting those, at least according to the law, right?
I
But
think
if you
I think
buy,
that's why a lot of people who studied psychology end up in HR.
yeah, yeah, because it also, I mean, it also has something to do with selecting the best kind of, characteristics, competencies, skills, and putting them in right positions. That's basically the whole premise of the human resources, right? And the thing is, if I mean, what would be the best way to do that? Do I just get? I mean, do I spend how much thousands of pesos for this, and I only get to test one person, or do I just let maybe let's say buy a license from this particular test, and then I can use it multiple times, therefore saving me a lot of money,
I think that's what we did back in my previous company. Yeah.
right?
Oh, name drop. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
But
It's there's nothing really wrong with that
uh-huh.
because they're like
Right,
basic tests which you give to applicants.
right, right.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I mean, you have to be critical. For example, if you're going to use this particular test, and same with, let's say, if you're going to use astrology and horoscope to determine whether this person would be a viable partner for me, or if this person is a good fit for the job and whatsoever, you'll have to ask yourself, why am I using this as a basis? Right, pretty much like for if you're gonna hire a person, okay, because I want to see if this particular person would be able to be a good fit in our company. And I do remember in one of the first companies, or the first company that I work with, they didn't use MBTI, but there is some sort of a four color personality test. It's a
Oh,
leadership kind of test wherein
I think I remember this. Yeah.
basically the goal of that is to, you'll know what color you are, and then if your team leader is this particular color, at least your team leader would be aware how best to handle you because you're this,
Hmm.
What if
right?
team leader is colorblind? No, I'm kidding. no, no, I'm just,
Valid question though.
All of you are
right.
under me.
It's fun to see, but to and I would love to use that line that you mentioned earlier.
Mhm,
I would love to use the line that you said, like, if you think that you're not compatible with someone, or if
mhm,
you think an applicant isn't right for the job because of their
mhm,
zodiac signs and whatnot, then you got to ask yourself, why do you believe that? Yeah, yeah, I would love to tell somebody that because it's because I'm pretty sure the answers that they'll usually give you are like, oh, because, oh no, it's really
Yeah.
because I'm like this, and the horoscope says this. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then I would reply something along the lines of, okay, but then why do you believe in that if
Mhm.
there's no scientific evidence?
Just
Right.
I'm pretty
because.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reply. They get stumped over there and like, what, I can't choose to believe in what I want to believe in now.
Uh-huh.
It's like, okay, wow, that's a really great way of looking at things. Great. You
Yeah.
do you. Uh
And then they ramp it up by saying, "Oh my goodness, you're attacking me personally. Oh,
what yeah.
you need to be canceled."
How about this? Ask your look at your zodiac
Mhm.
signs and really think whether or not you should cross a street when the light is clearly green. Like that's the type of I don't want to be mean, but I have to put it out there. I got to be really critical, and if I got to be critical about one thing, then I might as well be that way about everything else.
Well, according to my horoscope on this really shady tabloid, it says I should not cross the street today. So I shall go back to bed and not go to work.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm also
basically.
thinking about other like possible scenarios though. Like, what if ever any of us say something like that? Oh, what is your horoscope? What does your zodiac say about this situation?
Mhm.
And they'll reply like, oh well, it's I guess it's probably not logical because we're referring to the whole crossing the street thing. I guess it's not logical because obviously that's a street, and
Mhm.
if I cross that during a red light, chances are I might get run over, but that's just probability in sciences.
Yeah,
I would love
that's the name of our episode, by the way. Chances are I
I
might get run over.
I would love to. I'd love to reply to them in that situation, like, "Oh, okay, so now you're actually citing science and numbers and percentages and probability. What happened to the astrology shit that you just were spitting
Wow.
in my face a few moments
Wow.
ago?"
Oh, Zach,
Mhm.
your former
I,
job sounds really stressful, man.
this might not like. Okay, this whole situation about me questioning someone who believes in astrology may or may not have happened.
Mhm.
It
But
did.
I'm not. I will neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, which
It's
means
just
it
that,
did.
look, I know we're all chill here. We believe in the phrase "walang basagan ng trip," but
Yeah, yeah.
but obviously when it's too stupid to pass up on, I will pick on something
Yeah,
every now and then.
plus when it involves work, right? I mean
Right.
that's a different kind of story. You're talking about livelihood and you're talking
Oh,
about
right.
being part of a cohesive unit. So
Mm.
you can't let that kind of thing mess with the dynamic of whatever's
Exactly.
already been set in stone. So
Well,
yeah,
Mhm.
I don't feel like working today because it's not going to be good. It's retrograde and
yeah,
shit.
because Jupiter
Oh
is
god.
not in its proper axis or something. No, that sounds like astronomy. So, but
That
that's
might actually have science. Astronomy has actual science,
yeah.
okay?
Well, I mean, if Jupiter is in a different axis, we'd probably be dead. So I guess that's a different kind of story. But either way, I mean, it's nice to know that in this particular aspect, we're sort of gaining a different understanding. In my case, a deeper
Mhm.
appreciation. For Zach, it's more like he's building up a certain tolerance to astrology, thanks to the
I
insights that
I
Den
am
has provided.
refraining from regurgitating anything that may have entered my system.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, Zach. But given
Big
how
man.
yeah, given how this topic has basically run, I think it
Mhm.
would be great that down the line, if ever we have any certain subjects or any certain issues or anything to talk about that might
Mhm.
involve, I think it would be great if we have Denden on the podcast again to lend her insight because astrology. and these anything that it entails, like tarot readings and
Right.
whatnot,
Yeah.
and such. It's still, I believe, it's a small part of something. I think we barely scratched the surface in this
Mhm.
episode, and I think there's
It's
a
so it's so deep.
yeah, there's God.
That's what she said. Yeah, but I'm not gonna get into it. But anyway,
Anywhere.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Before anything else, I just gotta say, we're just yeah, to your point, we're just scratching the surface
Right.
of whatever great big world our minds contain, and
Mhm.
I think it would be
Exactly.
really useful to have more guests, Den included, and who knows, anybody else. So for anyone who may be listening, you have a suggestion
Yeah,
for a
I mean,
topic, you have a
if
suggestion for
if
anyone who
then
might join
yeah,
us,
if Den will want to debate anyone, we'd gladly facilitate. We'd
we
sit
would
back,
gladly
we'd sit
Wow.
back
facilitate
and
and
Sounds
commentate.
let
exciting.
you guys have at it. Yeah, but okay,
I
but
would I would love to see that.
yeah,
Honestly, I would. Den, the actual a person who actually studied psychology and actually has the credentials to
yeah.
back her up, versus somebody who, I'm not going to
Versus
say talk out of their
a
ass, but
shaman.
versus yeah, no. And by the way, I almost got hypnotized by some big ass Indian on the streets of Thailand.
Oh,
He was, yeah, a fortune teller.
wow.
Those fortune tellers, yeah, they're rampant. They're rampant over there.
Wow,
Back pre-COVID,
I didn't know they
pre-COVID.
had. I didn't know they had budol in India. Wow.
Yeah, no, for real. And Den,
Perfect term.
this is
Right.
one of those tricks. Will be like, oh, my third eye can see, uh, and then he'll have like a deck of cards.
Uh-huh.
See this? You will meet someone in 2 years. 2 years, you will meet the love of your life. The love of your life.
You will
Her
meet her
name will start.
in your village.
Her name will start with letter S. Letter S. And you know what? Coincidentally, okay, sure, maybe that might have happened, but it took a little bit longer. So jokes on him. He didn't get more than 500 baht out of me. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
I didn't get ripped off. No, but they do that sort of thing. And then at the end of the line, they'll be like, okay, they'll show you a picture of their some old ass picture of apparently their kids in some province, and they'll be like, okay, no, any amount can do it. The more the better. Like, whoa, okay.
Well,
I didn't.
I'd say that it's part of the tourism, Zach. You
I,
did your part and you helped someone out.
it's astounding. No, it's just it's interesting because people have found a way to use psychology and
Mhm.
really
Hmm.
everything about how a person acts or sees things, and then just turn that into some sort of modus operandi.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you call it a hustle.
look, I don't want to shit talk anyone again, but I'm gonna do so anyway. All right,
All
and
right.
and
Okay.
this is calling out any famous astrologer who may have many clients, may even have his or her own TV show or billboards along major highways. I mean, shit. Like, I hope you somehow get to show people why you came to those conclusions, because then, you know, maybe it would give you a better shot against people who actually think normally. But whatever, I rest my case.
And okay, to be the voice of reason. Well, what you said is reasonable, but in contrast to that, I'd also like to quote an astrologist who actually, you know, gave some proper insight. To quote that person, meron tayong free will, gamitin natin
Exactly.
ito. Ayan. So, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Those
Yes.
mornings were great. But anyway,
Right.
okay. So before we wrap things up, this is an interesting conversation. Then thank you so much for
Mm-hmm.
joining us and of course, giving some valuable information, some backed up information about this
Mm-hmm.
topic. So it's great that once again, Zach and I aren't talking out of our asses.
I
But
am.
okay, thank you. But all right, is there anything you'd like to plug? Any social media or yeah, anything that you'd like to promote before we wrap things up?
Well, I'm just on Twitter under Dandan Parreño. So you can find me there, but it's mostly my academic Twitter. And while I wear many hats, maybe you'll find a lot of my other stuff being shared there. So that's mostly my research life. So yeah, it would be very interesting to find more people there if ever.
Okay, so
So
that's it. So no SoundCloud, no Steam ID, or
well,
Please,
username on
Steam.
Valorant, or
nako, ready ba sila sa ganon?
Oh,
well
nice. I
well
like it.
that's well we have another podcast for that, but
We do.
maybe next time we could discuss that particular aspect. So all right, so you heard it, guys, on Twitter
Mhm.
at Denden Pareño. Well, no
Yeah.
Enye or just
No
N.
N, yeah.
Okay,
No
Denden
N, just
Pareño.
M.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's Parreno on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter for any academic information. And every now and then, I assume there will be a hot take that, you could more or less enjoy or debate. I'm sure Den is open for that kind of thing. She will
Yeah,
not back down.
definitely.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she will destroy you with facts and logic.
And she's actually super cool as well, just calm and collected. Notice this whole time I was just going all war free, Carlos being the voice of reason. Meanwhile, Denden's just destroying everybody, all while
Yeah,
being as cool as a cucumber.
yeah, that's well, that it's because she's finishing her thesis. She's already released all her stress throughout the day. So this is her time for
Yeah,
chill. Yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly.
all right. So
Well,
As
we
you've
super
probably seen on
appreciate
my
you.
Discord.
and anyway, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
guys.
you.
Uh-huh.
You could catch us on social media. That's at Chances Are Pod. We're also on YouTube. Chances are it's a podcast. This will be uploaded both on Spotify and on YouTube. Just wait for that. We'll be releasing it on our Facebook page and on Twitter. And Zach will be uploading basically IG stories
Memes.
with the really spicy memes. Yeah, do follow us there. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, Den.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Denden.
much for the time and for this really wonderful opportunity to talk to you guys.
And
I'm super
hopefully,
excited
yeah,
to hear whatever else we can cook up because I'm sure there are a lot of very debatable, very hot topics that involve the human psyche, and
Mhm.
I'm sure people would love to hear exactly what Denden would have to say and how we spice things up. So
yeah.
thank you once again so much, Denden, for joining us on the show.
Well, thank you so much and looking forward to more, hopefully.
Yes, we're also definitely looking forward to that. And everyone listening right now, y'all stay safe and we'll catch you all again real soon.